Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Somerville. I'm the Engagement Manager at the Australian Power Institute. I welcome you all to this webinar, this information session on how to become an API Power Ambassador. There we go. It's moved. All right. I just want to let everyone know that this webinar is being recorded. We do love seeing your beautiful faces online, but we understand that, you're listening to this just like you would listen to a podcast or music, and you may be doing other work as well. That's absolutely fine. But we just wanted to let you know it is being recorded. And we also love the use of, reactions and emojis so we know how you're feeling with the content. There will be a time for questions at the end. All right, first and foremost, an acknowledgement of country. So as we meet today, connecting a diverse community of people from across Australia, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of these lands and their contributing connection to land, waters and community. We pay our respects to the people, the cultures and their elders past, present and emerging. So wherever you are based, that's... So we have a welcome. So welcome. Hello. I don't know if everyone here has something to do with the API, whether you are working at one of our members or you're one of our scholarship students or you're in the community of the API, but we welcome you. And if you want some more information on the API, we're a national non-profit organisation that develops the technical workforce needed for the Australian electricity and clean energy future. And we can do this through these wonderful companies that are members of the API. So what can you expect today? Well, we can already tick one thing off our list is our welcome and our agenda. We're going to move into a poll, and then I'll do an introduction of API STEM engagement, and then I'll go through the steps of how to become a Power Ambassador. We'll talk about the tool resources and additional services of Solar Buddy that we can get into, and then how else you can get involved, and then we'll have some Q&A. So first things first, we've got a poll. Now this poll is, why are you interested in sharing careers and power at a school? This is where you can rate or rank these options. So if you've got your phone available, I encourage you to scan the QR code and complete this poll so we can understand what is your priority or why you are wanting to share and be involved in sharing careers and power at school. So for those who have just joined, we have gone through our welcome and our agenda, and we're just understanding where people rank their interest in sharing careers and power at school. Why are you interested? What is drawing you to become a Power Ambassador? And these are all, I wrote these are all the reasons that I love doing what I do. I love sharing my passion. I want the community to know how important power engineering careers are to the future. I want to make a difference. Wonderful. I'll give you maybe one more minute. All right. Aha, it worked for me again. I'm having a bit of trouble with my mouse. So I know I'm probably preaching to the converted, but why is STEM engagement so important? Well, for us in the power sector, it's important because it helps us build and encourage building a skilled workforce for the future. It drives innovation. We get a new generation of people coming in solving complex problems. It encourages the diverse perspectives. If we can encourage people that wouldn't normally go into power engineering to go into power engineering, we've got a new, way of thinking that will join. Obviously, it improves energy literacy across communities and it strengthens capability and independence. So what does the API currently do? Look, we do quite a bit, but we do rely on the power of people and our power ambassadors to be able to do more. So we do our social media engagement. We've got more than 500,000 views on our careers and power posts. So our posts that talk about different pathways, our posts that talk about technical aspects. We've got information on, different jobs. What else have we got? Career profiles and pathways, so both students and professional pathways. We've got our power ambassadors working with our members to support staff and schools, and we've got our power specific career resources. And I will touch on these a little bit as we go through the presentation. So here are some examples of what we do. So we've got Paige who did a profile for us. In fact, I think we've got another person online. I won't point them out because I don't want to embarrass them, who has also done a video profile for us. We've got student final year profiles of Tehaz Buttar. We've got, pathways. We've got the power alphabet. That's primary school sort of resource. And then we've got our social media. Now, I've got another question for you, another poll. So get your phone out. If you did the previous poll, it should just come up for you automatically now on your phone so that you can complete this. I am interested to know how many of you have volunteer or community days as part of your employment contract or as part of your university degree that you are allowed to do. So I know some of our members, I think Energy Queensland have community or volunteer days that they encourage staff to do, and they get paid for that day, but they get to choose what they do to volunteer or something that they can do in the community that services, Energy Queensland purposes. Wonderful. So there's 38% of you who say yes and have taken them. That's just gone up. So 44% of people have said that they're aware of. And do you know what? Maybe that's something you can add to your to-do list or to your homework. Not that I really want to do that, but if you are interested in knowing, maybe talking to your HR team and seeing, is it something that they will support? Wonderful. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty, how to become a power ambassador. Now, I think most of you have already done the first step. So yay, let's do the react. Let's give everyone a hand for those who have done that first step. That's probably, I don't know if it's the hardest step, but like the rest of it is fairly simple after that. This is something that you want to do, you want to schedule it into your calendar, but then what do you do next? So once you sign up to that expression of interest form, you will get some emails sent to you. One is a thank you for signing up and what will happen next. And then the next will be an email from Thinkific to continue the sign up to the Power Ambassador training. And we use a platform, as I said, called Thinkific, and it will enroll you into the course called API Power Ambassador Training. Sorry, I had to look at that for a second. I didn't know that off the top of my head. And you will then get access to the Power Ambassador Training, and you will be able to start the steps through Thinkific that will step you through what you need to do. Once that has happened, Now it's time to contact a local school. Now, you might already have a school in mind, whether it's your kids' school, your, I don't know, nieces or nephews' school, your local school in your community, a local school to where you work, the school that you went to. So there are some options there. And the cool thing is as in that training, the Power Ambassador training, there are some resources to help you connect with a school. Now, this is where a lot of people get held up because schools are busy. Schools have a lot going on. Schools typically plan their terms, quite far in advance. So if you are interested in going to a school, there are some recommendations that we have provided. Um, you it, you need to position it in a way that it will be valuable for them because it will be valuable for them. And sometimes you don't know which school level you need to go to, and we can support that because there are certain years within the curriculum that study energy, and that might be, the right year levels to go to. So I've put in here a little bit of a side quest. If you've found a school and you're super keen and you've started that communication, you can now go and do a side quest and talk to your employer and talk to the API about using Solar Buddy in your school visit. Now, there are a couple of caveats with Solar Buddy, and I will get to that soon. But and because we don't have, it's not everyone gets a Solar Buddy. We're not Oprah over here because Solar Buddy kits are very expensive, and we are buying them for our Power Ambassadors to use. So it is a communication thing. So I've just realized I'm using my hands a lot, but we really want you to reach out to me if you are interested in using Solar Buddy, and we will do our best to make it happen. So you're along this journey of becoming a Power Ambassador. So you've reached out to a school, you may have heard back from the school, or you're waiting to hear back from a school. The next step that you need to do is complete a survey. And this survey provides us with the information of your intent on going to a school. And the other, so this your intent on going to a school, what year level you're going to meet, who your contact is, but then you also have to do your child safe organisation code of conduct. And these two things happen on the Thinkific training, on the Power Ambassador training. They're both just as important as the other. The API, we are a child safe organisation, so we do our best to meet the child safe organisation requirements, which means we need everyone who goes out to a school to complete the code of conduct so they know what to happen, what they need to know, so they know how to for them to be safe and to help the kids be safe in their visit to schools. We have a whole website, a web page dedicated to our child safe organisation requirements, and part of that is the code of conduct and our, I guess it's our statement of, why we're doing this. So once you've done those things, you can visit your school, and we can provide, we've got resources on the training that will help you visit your school. We've got printouts, we've got a presentation, we've got a whole bunch of things. And in that presentation, we have, obviously slides and activities and images and spaces for you to add in your information. On the next slide, I will, we've got a few more pictures. Once you've been out to a school and you've done what you need to do, and you're back at your desk and you're like, wow, that was amazing, we get you to finish your training by doing the post presentation survey. So after your school visit, we've got a survey of how it actually went. What would your feedback be on the process? How many kids were in the classroom? How many of them were female? How many were male? You know, your experience. And we often get our power ambassadors to write a little bit of a brief of their experience, so that we can improve, or we can help, or we can share that with our community on, the amazing thing that you've done. So we've got some pictures from previous people's visits. So interestingly, one of these schools was a random school. So we had a power ambassador who didn't know which school they wanted to go to. So we actually reached out to Solar Buddy, and they provided a school that was really, really keen to have someone visit. And it was in this power ambassador's local area. So if you do struggle with finding a school, there is another option of letting us know, I want to go out. I don't have a school around me that I am, that has any connection to me. Do you have any recommendations? And then I've also added in there our Power Ambassador credential. So you get this credential because you have completed the online training, you have shown leadership in promoting careers in power, and we want to make sure that you have something that shows, you've done something to help careers in power. So the included tools and resources that you get as part of your training, we get a template email to the school. We have a photo consent form if you are wanting to have photos of, the class. Some students will get their parents to sign it. Some students may not sign it. And the teachers actually are really, really good at helping with that. It is actually quite a well-known thing in schools that they do, and can separate the kids of, who can be photographed, who can't. We also get some information resources, some recommendations. We've got our presentation in there, as well, to help. Now, these resources, we're always wanting to add more. I really want to put in there a sort of a run sheet or a template so people know how the presentation should go when you're in class. That really helps. And then also a checklist of things that you might want to tick off before, during, and after. So those resources are always constantly being updated. And then we'll get into Solar Buddy. So Solar Buddy is an amazing organization. You can do your research on who Solar Buddy is separately, but our values have combined in a way that, they send these kits out to schools. The kits get built by the school children and then get sent to a third world country that, I guess, has energy poverty. They don't have reliable access to electricity, so that affects kids going to school, doing homework, reading. So we like the fact that Solar Buddy, you get to build something that can change someone's life. And as power engineers, that is, or anyone who works in the power sector, what you do affects customers. It affects, every infrastructure in Australia, so that all communities and all people can access electricity. And I think that's a really wonderful story to show students, high school students, of that connection between what you're doing can actually has an impact on people. So we partnered with Solar Buddy in 2024, so last year, and we paid for 300 Junior Buddy kits. Now, you'll see a picture of a Junior Buddy kit in a second in the next slide if you haven't already. So that's 12 tubs of 25, which means we have 12 tubs, one for 12, that effectively 12 people can get a tub of 25 to go out into a school. In this first year, we have connected with 400 students And now I know you're probably thinking, how come there's 400 students and only 300 junior buddy lights? Well, it's because kids, they pair up and they work together. And again, we're showing, collaboration. So 400 students built a junior buddy across 4 states and 4 API members. So we've got Transgrid, AMO, South Australian Power Networks, and Energy Queensland. So I wanted to highlight here that when an API Power Ambassador uses Solar Buddy, it's not the generic, it's not the normal step-by-step. You get a different presentation, and there are a couple of other tasks that you need to complete. And one of those is getting the lights delivered to you and then returning the lights back to Solar Buddy for quality control and for them to send it off to another country. So we are looking for more power ambassadors to take Solar Buddy into school. We have 10 more kits for the next financial year, and we are looking for 8 to 10 power ambassadors to go out into schools to take these amazing Junior Buddy kits. And you can see a picture of the Junior Buddy kit created there, and it is a solar light. And one of the, I think that was at summer school, a summer school participant has put that together, and that then gets sent back to Solar Buddy, who then, send it to where it is needed. So the key outcome is, yep, you guys are super keen to be power ambassadors, and I will follow this session up with the step-by-steps that you need to take. But if you are interested in using Solar Buddy, then we want to hear from you. Now, there are, as I said before, there are some caveats and some conditions on the use of Solar Buddy. Because we have a limited number of Solar Buddy, it is limited to our member organisations and our scholarship recipients at this stage. If you are a Power Up student but not receiving a scholarship, we still want to hear from you, because a lot of the time students go out in groups, so we can pair you up with someone else who wants to go out. Or if we don't get a scholarship student from your area, we are absolutely open to other students taking out the kits to schools. If you are at a non-member organisation, you can have access to these Solar Buddy kits at a cost. They're not free. And then also each API member gets access to Solar Buddy every 2 years. So look, it is all dependent as well on who else is interested in using the Solar Buddies. So the main outcome is we would love you to get in touch with us if you're super keen on using Solar Buddy. And we have a lot of people. We've just had someone from Ausgrid up in the Hunter take out some kits. And we've got, other interested members, but it's sort of getting people to work together within an organisation. So as an example, SA Power Networks, we had one person interested in going out, and then I got an email from another person at the same organisation, and we paired them up. And there was actually a group of people who went out to one school, and they all, shared what they did. And the beauty of it is they all did different roles within SA Power Networks, and it was such a great way for the students to see the variety of roles. There was someone who was customer facing, and then there was someone sort of behind the scenes. And it was a really great impact on the students. So we've got 5 minutes left. I'm doing well for time. I'm going to go to the next slide, which has some questions. So I would love, if you've got a question, to write it in to that Slido and code with that, using that QR code. I was hoping that the questions would come up. So if you do have a question, write it in there. Aha, wonderful. Yes, anonymous. Can I do it in groups or is this an individual volunteer? Absolutely groups. Absolutely. If you are from the University of Melbourne and you want to go out, but you don't want to go out alone, absolutely you can take a buddy. The more the merrier, actually, because one person can be taking photos, the other person can be sharing what interests them about the about the power sector, and then you can swap over. Great question. And within organizations, of course. Any other questions? Oh, Solar Buddies intended for primary only. Good, another good question. So, yes, yes and no. So, Solar Buddies, there's two type of Solar Buddies. There's one called Solar Buddies and then there's Junior Buddy. We use Junior Buddy. Junior Buddy is for all ages from primary to secondary, whereas just the plain Solar Buddy kits are for secondary. So we use the Junior Buddy because it's all ages. Now, it is quite simple. However, when we did this, we did Solar Buddies at summer school. Some people, in their 30s and 40s didn't quite make the Solar Buddy correct. So that's why they have quality control. So it is not super simple. It is something that you need to follow the instructions and build together. Will API group people who want to work in a team? Yes and no. Uh, Say you've come from an organization, let's use AMO as an example. Say if you've come from AMO, I can go and search in who else has signed up to be a power ambassador from AMO to see if they're interested in going together. And hopefully it's AMO from the same state because AMO is a big organization. So I can help that way and then connect you all. But sometimes it's easier to, if you are from AMO, you ask around, hey, would anyone be interested in doing this with me? And then that person signs up and goes and does the thing with you. So yes, we can, for the most part, help. Which school levels are targeted the most? That's a good question. So I think what you mean is what school levels people go to the most. I'm just thinking back to the records. So we've seen probably year 3, 4, and 5 have been in primary school have been the most targeted, and in high school it is 10, 11, 12. So those middle years, 6, 7, 8 are being missed. So if you're interested in going out, go to the 6, 7, 8. I mean, look, the 10, 11, 12s are quite important because that's a lot of decision making is being done in those years. But yeah, it's typically middle primary and late high school that are being targeted the most. Can you please create group or share contacts if we are in the same city? I will have to look into that only because I'm not too sure if I can share people's details, but a subgroup might be created on LinkedIn. I'll look into that for people. Is there a list of schools we can contact? What if we contact same schools, like 10 people? Yeah, interesting. It hasn't happened yet. Um, and this is probably something that because you do that survey at the beginning, and when that survey comes in, I get a notification of someone's filled out the survey. Their intention is to go to XYZ school. I've never seen a duplicate of a school, but I guess with more people, we may. If that happens, I will follow up and go, hey, you're reaching out to this school. This person's already been there. You can go to the same school. It's not ideal, but there's also different year levels. And it means that they're a very lucky school. I might put that to the side and think about that a bit more. Can you group an industry? Can you group an industry professional and a university student? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a really great way to, yeah, do some little informal mentoring, a little bit of, connection between the two. Have I gone through all the questions? I think I have. Are there any more questions there? Amazing. Oh, 1:31 or 12:31 for those up north. I don't even want to work out the time in the other states, so I'm not that smart. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your passion. Please keep in touch with me. Say hi or let me know if you have any other additional questions. Yeah, we are so lucky to have so many great professionals and students who are keen to do this. All right. See you later.